area of the Grand Canyon will have to be closed off from visitors for the remainder of the season. Thankfully, though, no injuries or deaths have been reported so far.
Yeah, and that's a big area that we've been talking about last week. A lot of families going out there on vacation, wanting to see the national parks before kids head off to school. So at least it's good they're closing it for safety reasons. Yeah. Also, prior to them closing it, I saw some pictures and it was just covered in smoke in the canyon itself. So the visibility, of course, wasn't going to be as great, even if it were to stay open. But safety is always firsthand what needs to be taken.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of safety, we're going to take a look at this.
This is crazy,
Isn't this? It's an amazing video of a fire tornado. We also call it a fire-nado that was caught on camera in Utah. This is part of a Deer Creek fire, which has been burning since Thursday. Several communities have been evacuated as the fire spreads. And we talked about this earlier on the morning show, just how this fire-nado forms, and kind of think about it like having a bonfire, right? You have this rapid uprise of the smoke, and that's exactly what's happening in this fire. But then we start to get winds, kind of like a tornado, wind shear. Our winds are changing direction with height, and that's then creating this rotation effect, allowing that fire-nado to form. So it's spectacular to see, of course, captured from afar, and crews are on the scene trying to manage that fire as well.
Yeah.
Another tornado, we are jumping from a different state, from Utah to Iowa, but this one was during race day. There was 27 drivers that were scheduled to take part in the IndyCar Series practice session on Friday afternoon, but rather than the drivers racing on the track, spectators were racing for cover as the weather came in. Let's take a listen.
There is a tornado warning that is in effect. Iowa Speedway may not provide adequate protection from extremely high winds, lightning, hail, or tornadoes. There is no basement or approved tornado shelter on property.
Oh, scary sound.
No other safe option is available to you.
So you can hear there in the video that the announcer can be heard saying to seek shelter immediately. A tornado warning is in effect. According to the Speedway, there are no basements or officially designated storm shelters on the property, unfortunately, and that led fans and personnel to find their own substantial shelter when the severe weather hit with that tornado on the ground there. Track staff could be heard encouraging people to consider heading towards their own personal vehicles and staying in them until the storms rolled through. Meteorologists, I'm sure you hear us say too, caution that being in a vehicle can in fact be dangerous during these kinds of events, as tornadoes and strong winds can toss them around. After the storms passed, there was no immediate reports of injuries or significant damage, thankfully, but heavy rainfall did lead to some long delays to allow the track to dry. Of course, you know, studies have shown that whether you're in a car or in a ditch, it's better to at least find some place to be rather than none. And of course, if you're in a car, buckling down with that seatbelt on in case it does get lofted, but a scary situation there for many spectators.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a look at another tornado that moved through the area. This was in Davenport, Iowa. Again, the same storms that we saw there also produced this tornado in Davenport. It experienced severe weather on Friday night that was about 214 miles for us, but it led to an EF2 tornado, according to the National Weather Service. Maximum sustained gusts were about to be 120 miles per hour, estimated, with a length of 7.6 miles on the ground in about 10 minutes. Now, most significant damage was reported to an RV business where some of the RVs were blown around 10 to 15 feet, and an adjacent neighborhood had larger trees uprooted. Thankfully, there were no injuries or fatalities, but I want to take a look at this because notice there's the path. There's all that triangles on the path, which is the tornado. And at times when we rate tornadoes, some people might not know this. For this example, it's an EF2. Well, it's not an EF2 for the entire time it's on the ground. They take it at the point where it has the highest peak winds, and that is what they rate the tornado as a whole. So you see a lot of the green triangles in the beginning there. That's an EF1. We had the EF2 along Highway 81. Is it? No, 61? 61, small number there. And then notice as we are moving north of Davenport, we had some of the blue triangles, which means an EF0. So it fluctuates in strength as it's on the ground and makes its path. So we're continuing again to watch that. But again, thankfully, no injuries or anyone hurt in that situation.
And not too far from us either. So, I mean, just, it always interesting to see
Agreed.
Where those tornadoes choose to touch down.
I agree. Well, a little bit farther from home for us,
Just
way
a little
more
bit.
than 214 miles. We are talking about Greenland. I mean, can you take a look at these pictures?
Oh my goodness.
Authorities in northwestern Greenland are warning residents of a small coastal village to exercise caution as a massive iceberg looms along the coast. It's raising fears of potential dangers. Of these photos released by the municipality showing giant wedges of ice towering over this town, businesses, and boats. The village is home to fewer than 200 people. It sits on a rocky island along Greenland's rugged coast and is only accessible via air or boat. It's not the first time that this town has faced dangers of drifting chunks of ice. I believe it's called intersuit. But in July 2018, icebergs estimated to weigh more than 10 million tons, positioned itself just offshore the village again. So sometimes these can cause tsunami-like waves. They eventually drifted away from the settlement, but a scary sight. Who would think that you'd have massive mounds of ice moving your way, and that, again, could, it's almost like the Titanic, but except you're not in the sea, you're on land.
Well, and it's just so interesting, too, because a lot of times the ice under the water is bigger and broader. So you see a picture like this, and you're like, what's the bottom part of that iceberg doing right now?
I don't know what I would do, though, if you see, like, what if you saw a sea lion on it, or like a polar bear or something?
Wow, running the opposite direction.
Yeah, right.
Wow. That's just fascinating
really
to
cool
see.
There. There's a lot going on, though. Again, we've had a lot of severe weather, the flooding, the wildfire smoke, which is something we're still dealing with, and that possibly could be impacting us for quite some time, Steph. What's your update?
And you know, it feels like a while since we've had to talk about the wildfire smoke, but we really saw it yesterday across parts of our area, as well as this morning. In fact, our air quality was not great this morning. It has improved. In fact, our air quality alert for at least central and southern parts of the state, including here in Milwaukee, that expired right at noon, but it is still ongoing across northern Minnesota, far northern Wisconsin, the UP, and then crossing the lake into Michigan State. There's even a portion of Chicago, the Chicagoland area, I should say, and northwest Indiana that are still under that air quality alert. Now, we do still have some wildfire smoke. It's just not as thick as this morning at the surface as well as at our upper levels of the atmosphere. It is a lot worse way up towards the north, though, especially across Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. There's a plume of pretty thick wildfire smoke. But because we've seen a shift in winds, it's actually going to keep it up towards the north of us. You can still see near Sheboygan, and then down south, Racine to Kenosha, especially this area. You're still going to see some haze as the day goes on. Everybody, though, here locally, so, you know, southern Wisconsin up to Green Bay, air quality is in that moderate category. Earlier, it was unhealthy. In fact, we even had a period of time where it was unhealthy for everybody. A lot of times we see that orange color, which is unhealthy for sensitive groups, but it was a lot worse this morning. Now you can see it, that continues out west and up towards the northwest, especially where there is that thicker plume of smoke. Now, besides the haze, the rest of today is still going to be quiet and very summer-like. We have a high-pressure system right around the Great Lakes region. It's a lot more unsettled out east, down into parts of Texas. Unfortunately, rain is still falling for parts of Texas right now. Yesterday, that was a big deal for the areas that have dealt with that catastrophic flooding. You know, it was raining. Right now, we do still have that area in Texas, and then other than that, just some scattered activity down towards our south and out towards the east, as well as across parts of Florida. There is a flooding risk still, especially out towards the west. You can see a lot of spots, including New York, or I should say east, a lot of spots, including New York City, under at least flood watches just east of Oklahoma City, and then that same area in Texas here. Not only a handful of flood watches for that area, but also still ongoing flash flood warnings, thanks in part to some of the rain that is very close to this area and still falling at the moment. So sadly, weather is still playing a role in those parts of Texas that have just dealt with absolute devastation. The Weather Prediction Center does still highlight parts of Texas for heavy rain potential today, as well as that area out east under those flood watches. So there will be spots today that still deal with some heavy rainfall. No severe threat for the most part today. There is a little bit out towards the west today, and then notice Tuesday, just a slight uptick in that for places like Sioux Falls, South Dakota, down to North Platte. And then then Wednesday, we see that actually pushing eastward. So parts of western as well as southern Wisconsin here do have the marginal threat for strong to severe thunderstorm Wednesday, especially late in the day Wednesday as we see a storm system rolling on through. In the meantime, though, plenty of sunshine today. Still a little hazy at times, but both today and Tuesday looking pretty good. Now, Tuesday up towards the north, there will be a chance for thunderstorms as that system gets a little bit closer. Notice towards the south, though, we don't really see that thunderstorm chance until midday into the afternoon on Wednesday. And that being said, it's likely still going to linger into Thursday morning, but then we'll feel relief from some of the heat and humidity. And we've got the heat across the U.S. today. A lot of 90s, a lot of triple digits in the forecast. And even here in Wisconsin, highs are likely going to be in the 80s, but just out towards the west, Minneapolis, for example, could see 90s today. So it is going to be a hot couple of days here locally. Milwaukee could see upper 80s both Tuesday and Wednesday, but then some relief, which is some great news. And also dew points, not surprising here. We will continue to see those dew points climbing with that storm system Wednesday and then dropping behind the rain. But just plan on some hot and sticky weather Monday, today through Wednesday.
Well, it is summer, right? We're going to take a live look outside, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some ways where you might be able to help your air quality, especially if you're driving in your car. Stay tuned. We'll have more coming up. Welcome back to Wisconsin Weather Experts. We've been covering a lot of still the continuous flooding, wildfires, the air quality being a problem.
Yep. And there is a great way for us to protect ourselves while driving. I know that sounds like a weird thing, but meteorologist Holly Baker has something you could do to your car to protect us and our air quality.
Hi guys, it's meteorologist Holly Baker here, and we're going to be talking about something interesting today. We're going to be talking about how to change your car filter, but there are several filters within your car. You got an engine air filter, you have a cabin air filter, as well as an oil filter. So the one that we're going to be talking about today is the cabin air filter. So what exactly is in cabin air filter? Well, it is designed to remove dust, pollen, and any type of pollutants that are in the air that you breathe inside of your vehicle. So changing air filter will help you breathe in cleaner air. Changing your cabin filter is something that you can easily do at home yourself. You don't even have to go to any type of car servicing center. You can change it simply in your parking lot. In order to change the air filter, you have to locate the glove box, and there you will find the air filter. So we're looking at this air filter, and you can tell that it has not been changed in years. Literally, you're finding leaves and all types of debris in here. So technically, you want to change your air filter at least once a year or every 12,000 to 15,000 miles. Now, this is how your cabin air filter should look. It was just that simple. Around this time of year, when you're using your air conditioner the most, you're going to be breathing in the cleanest air once you change your cabin air filter. I'm meteorologist Holly Baker, Fox 6 News.
It's such great advice, right? And you don't even think about it, that you need to change that filter. I mean, some people do it on their AC units as well, but think about all the dirt in the air, and that's all ventilated into your car when your air comes in.
Right.
Whoever even knew.
And it's easy to. I think something you can do yourself is motivating.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Holly, for that. We'll definitely be reminding people of that in the future as well. Well, this is the time of year when a lot of kids are still off, and you may want to do a fun activity with the family. I had the opportunity to go to Jelly's Market in Wisconsin, not too far, again, from Oconomowoc, to pick fresh blueberries off the bush. Yes, it is blueberry season, and again, it took me a long time to get this. I went just before I think a lot of them were ripe, also got some for the family. July is actually National Blueberry Month and is recognized by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Weather conditions such as temperature and rainfall can influence how quickly blueberries ripen. According to the U.S. Highbush Blueberry Council, blueberries can grow all over the United States. More than 98% of commercial blueberry products actually are from Oregon, Washington, Georgia, Michigan, California, New Jersey, North Carolina, Florida, Texas, and Minnesota. So during the winter months in the Northern Hemisphere, areas like Peru, Chile, Mexico, and Argentina play a crucial role in keeping fresh berries in the grocery stores. If you want to celebrate this delicious and nutritious fruit, blueberry picking season in Wisconsin typically goes from mid-July through August. So a little bit longer than strawberry season. It's still perfect for kids. You know, some of the bushes can be taller, some of them are shorter, but no matter what the height is, you can just eat them, have a nice sweet treat in a cool day, and it's fun to do with family of all ages.
And it's such a good tradition. I mean, my mom and my aunts, they do this every single year around this time, of course, even down in Illinois, and then you freeze them and you have them all year long. And if you have little kids, parents, I'm talking to you, you know how many blueberries you go through. So this is, it's a little more fun.
And it's a lot less messy than strawberry picking, I will promise you that. Still have the hand wipes, still wear the hat and sunscreen, but it definitely is fun to see.
It's not
kids out
drooling
there.
down your face like strawberries.
We're going to have a lot more in Wisconsin weather experts coming up after the break.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Wisconsin Weather Experts. Have you ever wanted to own something from space? This could be your opportunity. A 54-pound rock that is a piece of Mars is being auctioned off. There you go. It's the largest piece of Mars ever found on Earth. Now, the meteorite is believed to have been blown off the surface of the red planet by a massive asteroid strike, traveling 140 million miles before crashing into the Sahara Desert.
Wow.
Get this, it's expected to sell for roughly $2 to $4 million at auction.
Huh. Well, I just want to know, how do you know it's from Mars?
Yeah.
You know, I know we've taken samplings, but can
Right.
we compare them and contrast
I know.
with NASA?
It seems like an easy one to, you know.
But what would you do
trick
with that?
people.
Would that be the centerpiece of your kitchen table?
Oh, yeah,
Like, where would
yeah.
you put it? That's
You'd
the
need
other thing.
a case
A
around
case
it.
around it?
In my house, my kids would take
They
that
would
out in a
touch it.
second. All right, well, check this out real quick. So a woman hiking in Southern California records her close encounter with a mountain lion, and listen to.
No, no, no. Go away. Go away. That's right.
Wow.
No.
Right, this happened on July 3rd on a hiking trail in the Los Padres National Forest.
No.
This
No.
woman was by herself. She repeatedly yelled no and go
No.
away. The mountain
No.
lion went into the brush
Thank
and
you.
returned to the trail before
my God.
eventually going away. I mean,
Oh
just
my God.
watching that and hearing her voice, like, please no,
Yeah.
get away from me, that is like, oh.
And they're fast,
Scary.
big creatures with very large claws. I would be terrified to encounter a mountain lion. I mean, even around here, I'd be terrified to see a spider coming down
A
at
snake,
me too.
a spider, a bear up north.
Ugh, no, no. But I mean, maybe that's a tactic that works. It's just like she said, being loud,
Yeah.
not running away, and
Yep.
being big, and that makes you look like the bigger animal. So the cat maybe saw that and was like, all right, I'm going to take a pass.
Oh, well, I'm glad she is okay, and glad that mountain lion decided to go off and do his own
And
thing.
that we don't really have a lot of that here.
Amen. Live Look Outside today. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you here right back at noon on Tuesday.